So hello, everybody, and I got to press start. Hold on. There we go. As soon as the timer starts ticking down.
Nobody saw
Okay,
that.
hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 13. I need to fix that on the back end. But episode 13, ignore the thing at the bottom. Today, we've got a pretty fun show. We're going to be talking about RLRS teams, our speculation on who's going to be getting in, who's going to be performing well. Then we've got Chicago interview. We've got the freestyle. We also will be bringing Chrome on, and also Mitz Evo X. Mitz, he is the manager. I believe he was the manager for Afterthought at the time. So he's going to come in and give us more insight around that whole situation. So it's going to be a fun, action-packed show. And as usual, I'm joined by the crew, Grant, Moopy, and Sub. And guys,
Let's
welcome.
go.
Hello.
Hey.
What's going on?
Did you say Chrome or Chicago?
Chrome and Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So Chrome's going to be joining us in the freestyle later.
Lit.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm going to fix. Well, I mean, it's already gone. It's already over. 6 seconds left. I always mess something up, right? Like I got the stream title correct this time, but messed up at the bottom. But anyway, we're going to jump right into it. We've got the RLRS, and I actually
Isn't there a list?
Yeah,
There's
I want
a
to
list
see.
of players and
I'll see if
teams.
Chicago wants to join us for this segment.
I want to know what Chicago thinks, man.
Well, there's also a list of teams.
Yep, I've got it up right now.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
bringing it up. You guys can
Bring it
go
up on the
ahead
screen.
and take a look at it.
Yo, post a link in chat.
This is for NA. I'll post a link in chat too.
Rapid, what's up?
All right, so I'm going to send here, I got to do two things at once. I'm trying to multitask here, and it's very difficult for me. All right, start talking about stuff, Subin.
What do you mean?
You're actually competing. Your name is on this list.
I am competing. I mean, we'll see how well we do because our third just bailed on us like a few days ago. But it was out of his control, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to put any blame on him. He had, like, personal matters to take care of. So it's essentially a new third that we're trying to implement. So I don't know what to say. We're still, like, working things through. But it's a little turbulence in our plans.
Who's your third?
Comp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was going to sub, but, I mean, it just
And if you're a
ended
little
up being
newbie
this
in
way.
chat, this is the Reddit link, and you can go and read. So we've got Chrome, we're going to be pulling in Chicago. Pulling in Chicago to join us for this segment. I mean, we could also bring in Chrome, I guess, if we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring them both in.
At the same time.
Yeah, why not?
It might be a lot of people, though.
Chrome. Okay, we'll just bring in Chicago. You're right.
Yeah,
for now,
it is
we'll
a lot
have.
of people.
I see him join. All right, I'll pull him in here. So are we in interview? Hello, Chicago. Can you hear us? Is he in the right room?
No.
Okay, there we go. No,
No, we're not in there.
you have to join the channel with them, Grant. Hello. Hey, Chicago. What's up, man?
You just kicked my boy Chrome out, man.
Okay, we'll bring Chrome in too.
There we go.
What's
Hello.
up? Hey, everybody. Chrome, Chicago, welcome.
What's
if you guys
up?
don't know, of course you probably do know, but Chicago used to be on EG before he got scalped by G2, and then Chrome was a former player, and now he's a manager for NRG. What's up, guys?
Yo.
People are saying 1 year, and I think I could hear it too.
Yeah, I hear it too.
Okay.
All right, I'll figure it out. You guys just keep doing your thing.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyway, RLRS, we've got a lot of teams coming in. And I want to know if you guys in particular had any teams that you are looking for in North America, Chicago and Chrome, either one of you guys.
Well, first of all, how many spots are open? Is it like six?
It's
Yeah,
six,
six.
because both
Jesus,
RLCS
okay,
teams
well-
disbanded.
All right. Well, I personally think, let's see here.
James, do you have that?
Yeah,
Reddit
and if you
list?
want, I can give you guys the link to all the teams, and you can just
Yeah, I'm
kind of.
looking at the teams right
'cause it's
now.
a-
All right, yeah.
lot.
So for me, like I think it's pretty cool that we're going to see Rapid stay in the RS. So just to give you guys a little refresher in case you don't know, the two teams that are staying in the RLCS or RLRS are the Peeps, which is Arsenal, Explosive Gyral, Reddles, and Mala as the sub, and then we've got Continuum, which is Aeon, Astro, and Rapid. It was the Compadres squad last season, except they replaced Moses with Rapid. So there's 6 spots available, 6 spots open, and you see all these teams competing. It's going to be pretty good. Obviously, you know, we've got Dapper's squad, which I personally hope makes it. Triple commit with Bork and Savvy Seal, that duo that's been around for a long time. They played in the Universal Open, and the Dappers played at the World Championships. So I hope they do well. But this is going to be, I think the bubble scene is getting really good. It's going to be a hard journey for everyone.
Yeah. It's interesting because the top The teams that are kind of like the top of these like bubble teams, they don't really like play that much, especially like in recent tournaments. It's hard to judge how they do compared to everyone else.
Yeah, Chicago, whose names are you seeing on here where you're like, I don't like playing those guys? Birds and Bees, Miss Hoxer rolled is.
I haven't played any like I played Afterthought when it was Afterthought, so when they like split up, I don't know the new Afterthought or the Birds.
Well,
and the
what was your
Bees.
opinion on them when you did play them?
They were pretty good. I mean, like, I think that if they worked their problems out, they probably would have been like definitely contender for a top 2 spot, which is unfortunate that they broke up. But I think right now the only team that's kind of a lock for top 2 in my opinion is Peeps,
Yeah.
because they're pretty good and they just started out. So I think it's like just with time.
Yeah,
nowadays teams
and we're
get better.
already going to like we are guaranteed to see them too. So they still have their spot. So their journey is a lot. It's a lot easier. So that's good for them. Just looking at some other names here. These are names that we're familiar with. We've got Halcyon, Vince, Pyro.
Well, Avocado.
Avocado's got
That's
Ajax,
essentially
Zol, Hey Rays,
Manhattan,
and
but
Timon. Yeah, so we've got
with
some,
Zol.
a lot of the returning players who were relegated out of the RLRS last season, and then also Pink Hard Fan Club, Prime Thunder, Matt, Soul Flares, and Risk. So we've got two, Prime Thunder, who is an RLCS caliber player, in my opinion, without a doubt. Whether he's a top 4 team type player, that's to be questioned. But then also Matt, who had a really crazy season.
I think they're going to have some good synergies, though, because Prime is really good with playing possession and like making sure his teammates get space in the ball. And Matt is just great with using that space, I think. I don't really know much about Soul Flares.
And Chrome and Chicago, have either one of you guys had an opportunity to play with Matt recently? Is he still pretty good?
From what I know, I think he's still in school, so I doubt he's playing as much as he used to. And Soul Flares is a CRL player, so I mean, I played that team in many tournaments. They weren't that great, but they could get better. So who knows?
Well, how much do you think the time spent is going to impact his play, or do you think he's just got talent?
He's not going to be as good as he used to be. That's just obvious. Especially like with the bubble scene, like everyone's gotten a lot better. Everyone's actually like grinding super hard. Like 10 teams here can honestly fight for those 6 spots.
Yeah, that's very true. And then in Europe, let's see here if any teams are sticking around. So
Europe's going to be cluster.
Yeah, so Complexity is staying together, and it also looks like Secret also is staying in their Complexity method. Vikings. So Vikings is the previous Fnatic squad. So both teams in Europe sticking together, it looks like. So we'll only have 4 spots over there, and we'll take a look really quickly at the EU teams list.
I'm not going to
Wait,
be
Vikings
familiar.
are staying together? I thought Mummy Snow
It says that on Wikipedia. It says it's Maestro and Snasky, though.
Playing.
Yeah, but it's Maestro and Snasky. So they're staying. If they stay together, that's 2/3.
Okay.
So they'd still be fine. So that's potentially something. I think it's kind of interesting. They've been there before. They made it. They got relegated and worked their way back up. Now they're going to have to do it again. I think Maestro is definitely a good player, but
Maestro deserves to be an RLCS.
yeah, they're gonna. I still think it's going to be hard. Like Europe as a whole region is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at some of these names. So we've got Jazer, Future, OSM, Pethy. One of the teams that is going to draw a lot of interest is the Buzzer Beaters, which is Pashy 90, Killer, and Stocky.
Were they Swarm? Is that the Swarm roster?
That was a Swarm. At least Pashy and Stocky. I don't remember if Killer was on the team at the time.
This is the Crown and Jewels roster.
Yeah, Crown and Jewels.
Oh, no, they had DeBoer.
Yeah, it's Crown and Jewels. That's Chrome is correct. And then Chicago, I don't know if you watch Europe at all, but is there any teams that you think are going to be pretty good?
I definitely don't think it'll probably be as good as last season with Savage and Triple Trouble, because those are like probably the 2 best teams out of RLRS like ever with Bread.
Yeah.
So, but I don't see that happening this season. Maybe Complexity with Flakes will be really good, but other than that, I don't really have enough knowledge to just know like if any teams will make that big of a splash.
For sure. We haven't really gotten to see a ton of the, like for me, I also watch a lot of the larger competitions, which you don't get to see as many of these guys in. But I think Team Echo Zulu, they had a really good dream hack.
Yeah.
And they're sticking together for the play-in, so we'll see if they can keep that magic going. I have gotten to see Arju play and Ixo as well. And those are definitely solid players. So May Contain Nuts, from what I've seen, those guys are pretty good as well. So that'll be fun to watch. I think Europe RLCS is going to be the hardest if it's ever been. But the RLRS, I'm just going to have to wait and see.
And there's not like any tournaments for them to play in other than the big ones, so you can't tell at all from past performances. I don't know of any events that they have. They don't have Gfinity anymore, right? They don't have. What else did they have?
There used to be ESLs and
it's all gone.
Gfinities, but
like, what are they supposed to do?
yeah, I mean, doesn't Rivals still run tournaments?
Don't
and
they have
stuff?
that Rewind Gaming tournament still going on?
I'm not sure. We've got
Just
Astro.
when there's a stream today about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We've got Astro. Oh, we could have covered Astro. You guys won that. I watched that. You almost got reverse swept.
Yeah, then Lawler was like, he's like, I'm still seeing problems with G2 that they had with Kernovi. And I'm like, we're playing peeps and they're good. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, you should just tweet at him. Get him nice and riled up.
All right.
No, actually, that's a terrible advice. But yeah, so RLRS, you guys are going to want to tune in. Lots of spots available in North America. I don't know. I can't remember when the first broadcast is. Does anybody know off the top of their head?
It's like end of March, I believe, is planned.
Yeah, group stage is April 6th. So it's the weekend before that, I believe. Mm-hmm. So
Well, they have 4 weeks of qualifiers.
Yeah, it's
So
the
it's
same
definitely
as
gonna be
last
end of
time.
March.
4 weeks of qualifiers.
So is the first qualifier this weekend then? Or
The start date is 04/12. So I think it's I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up.
That's probably, I think
egregiously
that's league
underinformed.
play, though, for RS.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's like a league play for RS is a week later than RLCS.
I thought it was a week before RLCS.
It's one
No,
or the
because
other.
they changed it last season. So now that league play, regionals week for RLCS is week 5.
Yeah, so
for
the
RS.
play-in
Okay.
happens on March 30th. So the 4 weekends before that, I believe, are all qualifiers to qualify for the play-in. But we're moving on into the next topic. We have Chicago here for an interview. Chicago is from G2, big-time superstar, hitting crazy shots. Chicago and Chrome, you can stick around and you can help us think of some great questions for Chicago. But Chicago, man, welcome to the show for your interview segment, which we'll hopefully slice separately and be able to clickbait on YouTube. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up? I'm doing good. Excited for RLCS.
Yeah, let's get right into it then. So RLCS, you made some pretty big waves coming into G2. Like one of the first goals that you scored in the World Championship in Vegas was pretty nuts. Like coming off the backboard, just an insane shot, and that kind of set the tone of your LAN performances that were going to be consecutive. Even WSOE performance really solid. You guys had some close calls there. How are you feeling going into this RLCS season with your new squad?
Probably the most confident I've ever been, with winning, with this squad, especially right now. I think we're past the honeymoon phase, but we're starting to learn each other more and kind of mesh even more. Just minusing some double commits and maybe cuts and rotations. That's the main thing. But other than that, I think this is gonna be the strongest season I've had with a team in terms of performance and just strictly winning.
What are some of the changes that you personally have had to make coming from your other team?
On EG, I was probably the striker, predominantly.
Right.
But now I think with JNaps and Rizzo, both of them are a little more aggressive and more of scorers than gaming classics. So I just there's just a different play style with that more aggressive kind of style.
And so you don't have to do as much, you're saying?
I don't even think it do as much. I just think rotations. I'm not always trying to be upfield, trying to keep the ball in for possession. I can just chill on defense. Sometimes.
Is that your more natural? What do you think your natural tendencies are as a player?
I'd probably say if I'm most comfortable, I'd probably be with the role I am right now because I don't like staying upfield kind of like a gimmick. He's upfield a lot, waiting for passes. Where I think I'm just I like rotating, just keeping possession on the ball. So I'm not totally an offensive guy, but I like being upfield and just being on offense. But I'm not full attack all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you hit some pretty insane shots. So it's interesting hearing that from you because you were a huge powerhouse offensive presence on EG. So to hear that that's not necessarily your tendency is pretty interesting. So how has it been? What's the atmosphere difference from an EG to a G2? What's it like playing with JNaps and Rizzo? Obviously, Rizzo's a huge you know,
Meme lord.
Yeah, meme lord personality in the scene. He makes a lot of content, and then JNaps is like the complete opposite, where he pretty much never says anything and just focuses on playing. What's that like?
Definitely a lot more calm. JNap's being like the biggest stoner in the scene.
He does
Everything
vape a
just
lot.
more mellow, to where his classics was super like aggressive, as we all know, passion. But honestly, I like both ways. Like when hearing classics get like super hyped up for something, that always like motivated me.
Yeah.
Like he said, that's why he likes to do it. But also like being like calm in pressure situations is also really nice.
Yeah, kind of like with WSOE, where it seemed like you guys were going to be out, and then you just piped it up.
So are you the one that's more like the motivator on the team now, like with piping up and all that stuff?
I don't know if there's really a motivator. I just think we all just kind of help each other out. We're all like, holy shit, JNaps, you're fucking. Oh, I'm cursing a lot. My bad.
Hey, it's okay. No, it's all right. Hey,
all good.
as soon as we get sponsorship dollars, then we can worry about what we say.
All right,
But
all right.
until then, you can say that all you want.
Yeah, but usually one of us is always like just going off at a time, and we're always just supporting that person, just be like, keep going off or something.
Yeah.
So what kind of has been your experience with these like you've already gotten to play at DreamHack and at WSOE. You've gotten to go to 2 majors, which, you know, it's kind of a huge shift this year. People getting to go and experience majors before the RLCS. Like, what has that been like for you guys? And maybe talk a little bit about the positives and negatives from both of those tournaments.
Well, majors overall are the best thing in the game. Like, I cannot wait for anything else other than a LAN, just because of ping difference and like being with your teammates, and it's just having the ability to like hold a trophy. It's just so much more. You're so much more determined to like grind and play as best as you can for that specific major than maybe online tournaments or something like that.
Yeah, it's different. You know, you get to go
Yeah.
and, you know, it's just a different environment. Like it's the same when I used to go and play Halo tournaments back in the day. An online tournament, you know, it's a dime a dozen. You keep playing in online tournaments, but when you're there in person, you see the people you're playing against. It's definitely a way better feeling, especially when you win. It's like being on, you know, you're in heaven.
Yeah. It's definitely a better feeling winning in person versus online, because online you don't know.
Yeah. So what was WSOE like? Did you enjoy that experience? Did you experience anything you didn't expect?
I mean, WSOE is great. For their first time holding a LAN, it was really good and well done, and I hope they do future events.
Well, they
But,
will
like,
guaranteed. Like there will be another
they
one, so
talked
that's
about
good.
it, yeah, I'm excited for that. But basically, like in terms of playing, first time on LAN, maybe our first day was pretty rough. We barely made it out of the group, and which I could tell. But the second day, I think, was like we learned a lot from the first day, which is what you kind of want to see out of a fresh team. Because if you're not learning, then you're not going to be able to see any improvements, rarely at least. But after that, when we just learned more about each other in person, we were explaining like what we're going to do in specific situations or what we should do and adjustments. And then after that, we kind of showed it in our play, and we played a lot better. But it showed that we still weren't perfect, but that was kind of a good sign that we adjusted, but we still need more to become a trophy holder.
Yeah.
That was awesome to see you guys fight back. Did you guys watch WSOE?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I was like, I had to watch like the replays because my sleeping schedule.
Yeah, it was
like,
funny because like reading the Reddit comments, people were like, "Oh, classic G2, this and that," before the series was over, and then G2 won. So it was pretty funny.
Shut them up real quick.
Yeah, that was good. What about DreamHack going to Germany? How was that experience? For me, a lot of jet lag and long days. But did you have time off to go and explore? Did you do anything outside of play?
Not at all. So like I had school on Wednesday, so I couldn't leave LA on Wednesday that early. So I basically got to Leipzig around like 10, I believe.
On Thursday?
And I got to Berlin at 10 on Thursday night, and my luggage was lost. First of all, so
no.
that
It's
was
like
fine.
lost, or it just didn't make the transfer?
It didn't make the transfer,
Okay.
and then I didn't get it until like 2 days ago. They had to ship it back to LA because.
So you didn't even have it the
Wow.
whole time you
No.
were there.
No, but
Oh,
luckily,
no.
I got like 4 new jerseys and a couple pairs of sweatpants, joggers from G2.
Oh my god.
That's
So
that.
I
I mean,
had
at
to
least
wear
that's
them.
a little
That's
good.
a
But
clutch play.
Yeah.
losing everything like that sucks. The same thing happened to
Yeah.
Speed. Speed was on our flight, and he had like a 15-minute transfer, and it didn't make the transfer, and he just
Oh,
didn't have his
Wait,
stuff.
Speed? Where is he flying from?
He was flying from like Norwich, which is just where Shogun's from. So I think he took a
And-
train to London or something.
And they lost.
Well, it was a
What?
super quick. He had like 15 minutes after he landed to get to his next flight, and his bag didn't make it from the plane to the next plane.
Oh, jeez.
So he made it, but yeah, his bag didn't. So I think a couple people did that. But what about the tournament? How was that?
The tournament was really good. Like day 1 and day 2, we were playing really well. The only series we lost was against NRG, and NRG, I don't know, they're just better than us right now, which is always a working point. But so we weren't too mad about that. But making day 3 was definitely like the first goal for us. We were kind of upset with our Savage series because we felt like we got outplayed by ourselves instead of them beating us. But in the end, that series against Signitas they had was probably the best series of the tournament. So
Yeah.
I wasn't really too mad that they moved on. But always losing a series where you felt like you beat yourselves is kind of tough, but also is another learning step that you can use to when you're in those like LAN environments and you're not playing too hot, and just make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, just gives you that little extra boost
Yeah.
to keep
Well,
practicing, keep trying.
I'm curious though. It seems like there's some teams that just. It turns out like when you're playing them, you just feel like, oh man, they're just better at us at this moment. You know, how much could you possibly attribute that to just play style differences? And do you think that like counter-stratting teams eventually down the line is like realistic, or is it too much changes like so quick?
Well, a lot of the times I think losing is both like maybe play styles and you're just making tiny mistakes that lead to goals. But in terms of counter-stratting, both with EG and G2, I've done it with both teams. So like whether it's looking at replays of teams and creating play styles, especially with G2, we kind of do that a lot. We go off the other team's play style and decide, hey, they're really aggressive in this, so maybe we should wait for a mistake and try and get some counter clears. But basically, besides that, I think counter-stratting will be kind of big in the future. But right now, for the next season or two, I don't think it'll be game-changing.
So it's like little tweaks here and there.
yeah.
Yeah, just making sure, like, because if you go aggressive team versus aggressive team, a lot of times if you're not playing at then you could just get beat by yourselves.
Yeah,
and
it's
just give
easy
up
to let that
goals.
get out of hand. But we're going on to the next segment. This is the Freestyle Chicago. Thank you for that dedicated interview time. And if you want to stick around, we would love to have you. For the freestyle, basically, we just talk about whatever we want. So we can continue to talk about the counter strat. I think that's a
Yeah.
pretty cool topic. So if you and Chrome are down to stay, we'd love to have you for the rest of the show, which is only like 30 minutes.
All right, I got nothing better to do.
Yes. Has teammates with Rizzo and J Naps. Has nothing better to do. Feels good, man.
Rizzo's probably doing a drunk stream or something.
But the counter strat is kind of an interesting topic because, back in the day, it wasn't really, you could watch replays and try to improve, and you would more look at your own tendencies rather than the other team to see what they did. But
Yeah. I think there's also room, even back then, because if you look at the meta of Rocket League from the very beginning, it all started with Cosmic Aftershock as that first team to beat. And they essentially established the meta. Everyone was trying to copy them, like having 2 aggressive players and 1 player that just sits back because nobody knew any better. And then here comes around, there was Untethered and Flipside and Kings of Urban, and they were all like creating new ways to approach the game. And even then, they were finding like unique ways to deal with Cosmic.
And I think a lot of times, though, that was just people kind of just playing their game, and it kind of developed how it will. But Chicago, you had mentioned, and Chrome, you're also a manager for NRG. So or a coach for NRG, so you would have great insight into some examples, maybe not necessarily ones that you've used recently, but it would be cool to kind of hear about your guys' process for when you are making these kind of game plans, what that process looks like, and maybe what that game plan looks like.
You want to go first, Chicago?
Well, I just have, I'll just say something quick. Well, stratting, right now you don't like, it's not super in detail. So you kind of look at maybe, or at least us, we look at a series that they play, and then we try and take the big things instead of the little things and just use that. But kind of specifically, I just wanted to mention when we got reverse swept by PSG at WSOE, when I think me and Janos went to the bathroom. And then when we came back, we had to like walk across the stage or walk by PSG, and they were watching the replays of our series or the first 2 games. And so I think that they definitely
That's
changed
interesting.
something because obviously we got reverse swept. So
Well, Fruity is a
definitely
friend of the
gained
show.
respect.
We could ask him what the heck he was doing. Then.
I mean, I saw them all gather. They're probably just shit talking us, but who knows?
Maybe they were shit talking someone on their own team. Like, how do you miss that save? Let's take another look. I always save that when my teammate misses a save last second. I'm like, how the hell did he miss that save replay?
I mean, come on, why isn't anyone as good as you?
But Chrome, you're a
Yes.
coach for NRG. What kind of stratting do you do, if any?
Well, depending on the team we play. I mean, for league play, obviously we're gonna know the team a week in advance, so we can do a lot of strategizing. I haven't actually coached for a league play yet, so but for DreamHack and WSOE, we basically just go with the flow. A lot of teams are play a certain way. It's definitely all play styles. C9's really aggressive, so we got to play a certain way, and then you got your EU teams that are just really rotational, and we got to play a certain way. So obviously, right now, I think our biggest struggles is playing teams like the EU teams and stuff like that because we don't get enough practice against them.
Mm.
So if NA teams is more so we just wait for the mistake most of the time, and we just really pounce on them.
So does that mean there is an opening in NA for a team that has that EU playstyle potentially? That could.
I feel like NA just rotations are not as crisp as EU. Because EU they don't really play risky. As crazy as it sounds, they're always just in position for each other.
Right. That kind of reminds me of Dignitas, before with KDOT. I definitely, when I would watch their perspectives, it was kind of they all have insane skill, but it doesn't seem like they need to tap into that at every moment of the game.
The thing with Dignitas is they're not even the fastest players to the ball. They're just always just
In the right spot.
making the right decisions, in the right spot.
And they just
And
seem
then
to have ultimate confidence in one another, like that they're making passes all the time and someone is there, and it seems impossible that they'd actually be able to check if someone's actually there.
No, yeah, they just know. They know
Yeah.
that they should be there. Then maybe NA players or NA teams they just have a different way of approaching the game that kind of fosters a playstyle that's not like EU. So that's why I'm asking what if a team decided to take a risk and try an EU playstyle? Do you think they'd find success in that?
I personally do think so, but I think teams are really lazy right now. So I think coaching right now is
In
actually
NA?
becoming a thing now, and teams are actually realizing how much play styles really play a factor, and you have to change every single time and
So-
adapt. Because
Oh, I was just going to
What's
say, Chrome, so you coming in as a coach, you're a player who's played a lot of seasons in the RLCS, and you're now trying to go for this coaching role. What do you think is the potential for roles like this for teams? What do coaches bring to the table, and what kind of has your experience been so far with NRG?
so far, my experience of energy has been phenomenal. Obviously, being able to help my close friends in the scene for a long time, and actually them wanting to learn from what I have to say and stuff like that, and just forming game plans with them, it just makes everyone more motivated to want to improve and stuff like that. And just obviously me being there as well, to help them with their mental game, because this game really is just all a mental game in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not playing well and you're not feeling it, obviously it's gonna hurt. But just being there just to support them is just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, I kind of equate Rocket League a little similarly to fighting games, where sometimes
Yeah.
you'll have the strategy and you can execute it, but in the heat of the moment you might just go, oh, like something didn't work. That means I have to completely abandon my strategy and go for something else. And that's usually what brings the team down. So the mental game, I definitely see that in like certain games like that.
Yeah, and Chicago, I actually have an interesting question for you. You were on EG, which has a pretty notable manager / coach in Fireworks. From the outside, it seems like he does a lot for the team, both organizing scrims, keeping people on the right track, and then also helping with replays and stuff like that. You're now moving to G2, who also has another notable manager, probably more of a manager than a coach, with Jazo. Can you maybe describe similarities, differences in your experience with both of these guys?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't. Jazo is definitely more of a manager than a coach, like you said. But when I was on EG with Steven or Fireworks, basically his schedule was kind of insane with replays. And like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but like, has he ever showed you his notebook with all the teams?
Mm-hmm.
That like
Yeah.
that's just mad respect for that. Just putting in the time. And just all that like work and watching replays, because sometimes it's definitely not the most interesting thing in the world.
It is a lot of work. I will say that.
Yeah, so I just give a lot of respect for that. But in terms of differences with like G2, Jazo's like basically the same way with he's like, you guys want to do replays, but except instead of him like maybe reviewing them, he kind of is like leads a open session with all three of us, and then we watch it together, and then we all go, oh, I was doing this, or I think we should do this here, blah blah blah. So I think that's like, it's kind of the same as what I was with EG, because we would do replays together as well, but I think this one's more open ended, and it's more of like a whole kind of movement saying like specific actual structure changes to the playstyle in certain scenarios. So I think that's kind of the main difference.
If you had a choice to pick between the two, which one would you prefer?
Probably the player open session right now, because I just think the like listening to your teammates, you can learn a lot more than maybe one man telling you all what to do or what all you should change. But I think both ways are like perfectly viable.
And I mean, you could
terms.
definitely have
I
a
agree.
mixture, right? Like where the coach can bring in some thoughts, maybe use it as a conversation starter for the team.
Yeah, well, the coach also can like do a lot of individual replay analysis. So towards the end, when I was on EG, Fireworks was starting to do individual kind of sessions where he would look at me and be like, you're ball chasing here, or a lot of times you're too aggressive and you're pushing out a net too fast, which I think is kind of like, that's exactly what coaches are for with in terms of that, but also team plays. So I think it's not just the team like reacting with each other, but also just maybe personal tendencies that players have that they don't really like notice because they're playing ranked, and it just grows worse. But when it comes to competitive side, and then they like act on those tendencies, and it can end up costing games. So yeah.
Yeah, and that definitely makes sense. And it sounds like Fireworks worked a lot, definitely earning that paycheck over on EG. Chrome, what were you thinking here, listening to some of that? Is it similar for what you're doing for NRG? Are you taking a different approach?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Same thing with like Chicago. Like it's a team effort. Like we all contribute. Like, we all say what we need to say about each other. No one takes offense. It's all about coaching each other and really like trying to find a better way to play. It's like not just one person telling everyone what to do. Like I don't want to sit there and tell them all what to do, because that's not really going to help, because
they've
they're not
gone
really
this far,
learning.
right?
They gotta interject, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be able to help them in a match. So they gotta be able to solve that on their own.
Yeah,
They
Chrome.
need
Are you gonna play again, man? Like I just can't.
I personally wanted to play, but no RLCS spot was open, and kind of
Why?
like
What about RLRS, man? You are you really that?
He's
dead
already
set?
said he doesn't want to do it.
money is an issue. On top of that,
Okay.
RLRS is dumpster trash. Format's terrible. It's been terrible since it first came out.
Okay,
I've seen it for
how
the
could it
longest
be
wrong.
better?
Yeah,
how could it
that's
be
a
better?
good
Because
point.
you have
Easily.
we know your thoughts on it being
mean-
terrible, but some people might want to hear exactly like some changes that you would like to see.
I personally think there should be a top 4 playoffs for RLRS, and then top 2 from that playoffs goes to play in regionals or whatever the promo relegation.
Yeah.
I think that's as best as you're going to get, since you only got one round robin session.
Yeah.
So how do you make league play worth it though? Because if you got a team that goes 7-0 and a team that goes 4-3, and then they play first round and the 7-0
Do
team
like
loses.
how OCE did it with their playoffs a while back, where it was like the top 2 teams basically play each other for one spot, and then the other two are in losers bracket.
That should be regionals
Oh,
for RLCS.
That's an interesting
too.
idea. I
Yeah.
like that idea.
And
I don't know how that has not been incorporated for RLCS regionals,
The
in my opinion.
so like instead of
3 and 4 play each other for a spot at LAN, and then the loser of that plays the winner of 5 and 6.
Basically, you avoid a rematch in double elimination bracket. So basically, one team is automatically forced out.
I think that as a
good.
competitor, that makes a lot of sense, right? Like it seems like it's the most fair. I think from a broadcast perspective, from like all of the very surface level viewers out there, it's very simple to say we just do a playoff with the top 4 or the top 6 teams or whatever it is. So I think it's when you change to that new system, it's a little bit harder to explain
I
why it
don't
is the
know,
way
man.
it is. But I think it is the better format, and I think that's
Okay.
what we should have. I
Yeah.
agree.
My question, like in terms of broadcasts, like if you mean in terms of the viewer, is
Yes.
that what I'm
yes.
like assuming?
It's
As
easier
far
for
as
the viewer to
I don't know.
understand the
I
previous
agree with
format.
that. It's easier to understand, but for example, what if Ghost made LAN last season 2 and 6? That just kind of blows my mind. And I'm sure not like majority of the viewer base wants to see the team at LAN that went 2 and 6
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
the team that went maybe 5 and 2 or 4 and 3, which is like
It's-
kind of crazy that they just have to play one series, even though
It's
they
true.
lost.
It
or 2 and
hasn't.
6
It
to
hasn't
5.
really happened yet. I think the biggest upset that we've seen in the regionals was probably denial over
but do
G2
we
back
have
in the
to
day.
wait for it to
Yeah.
happen? Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just that there will be, I think, a lot of significant pushes to make changes if it were to happen. Right now, like there hasn't been a situation where it's really been like a
Yeah.
lot of pressure on
We know
somebody.
it's possible,
but
though.
I think there's been a decent amount of people, myself included, that have been wanting this change in format for the regional championship.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought it was going to happen when South America was going to be brought in because obviously, well, it seems like the World Championship format will also likely have to change because a 12 team or however many team double elimination is going to be really, really big.
But do we
So,
know how that's going to work yet?
I don't think
No,
so.
they haven't announced it.
Chicago, Chrome, have you guys heard anything? Were the grand finals or the World Championship rules included with this season's qualifier announcement?
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything either. Maybe they were keeping it on the down low.
Yeah, so we're still kind of TBD on that. So I was hoping to hear something about format changes, but in my perfect world, as James Bot, not related to RLCS official stuff at all, I would love to see this change happen and also an expansion to 10 teams, and maybe even more than 10 teams for the rival series. But at least 10 teams in the RLCS and 10 teams in the rival series minimum.
Yeah, I think that'd be good as well. But also they interject with the RLRS thing too. Like it's just crazy just thinking about like Team Secret's 5-0, one bad week and they can't even qualify.
Yep.
As well
It's
as Savage almost
ridiculous.
didn't even qualify because they're a 4-user sub, and if they lost that series, they weren't going to qualify. Team Secret would have. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy seeing teams do so well and get punished for something so little.
Yeah, and I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here for you, Chrome. Like, I agree that RLRS could be better, but there was a time in which the RLRS did not even exist, right?
Well,
I mean,
it's-
personally, I
come
was
on.
on like 4 different teams and I qualified for RLCS with no RLRS, so that's a terrible
Well, 10
excuse.
10 years ago,
I'm just
Rocket
saying
League didn't
that
exist.
I'm just saying that while it might not have the greatest format, it is something that is necessary, and they're trying to address the need to have the path to pro. And I think that while you might disagree with the format, it's still good that we have the RLRS, and there's an expectation that it will improve over time. So I
just
generally like
think
to be a
that,
little more lenient, but I
sorry.
can understand your point.
Sorry to interject, but like I just think like the whole RLRS is just a blanket to shield the crappier RLCS teams, in my opinion.
yeah.
But the RLCS
orgs.
teams, so when you say that, what do you mean? Are you saying that the RLRS feeding in only 2 teams at a time, you think there would be more turnover in the top pro scene than there is now, but they limit the turnover by only having 2 teams subject to elimination every season? Is that what you mean?
I just mean like they're just able to keep their job, even though I feel like a lot of those teams aren't putting in the work and they just happen to get top 6, lucky going 2-0 a week or whatever. And they're top 6 basically.
Yeah.
Just-
So you think if
You
we
only really
went
need 2
back
wins.
to the old system where every team had to qualify, we would have way more turnover at the top?
I honestly think the best thing right now is just to have like 10 teams. I think that's like the best thing. If you're gonna keep like an RLRS, I don't know. I think 10 teams is perfect.
And what do you think about then auto promotion in a situation like that?
Auto promotion where you like kick out the bottom team.
So you wouldn't necessarily in Chicago. I want to hear your thoughts too. I mean, is anything that Chrome's saying, is that resonating with you? What do you think?
I mean, first season of RLRS, we went 7-0. To be fair, the competition
I
wasn't
remember
as
this.
good.
Oh yeah.
But we choked promotion tournament, and just like that, we were out of contention. We had to go back into RLRS, and it just like was so demotive. It just wasn't fun after that, because we had to go play another season after just like proving that we should have been in the RLCS, and just after like one bad day, we just didn't even have a chance.
Well, if you guys were that team now, do you think it would be any better because of like the DreamHack circuit and stuff like that, or do you think it would still be just as bad?
How would they get there?
You would fly. You just have to go.
It depends on if we have orgs. That's the problem.
No one has no bubble or no orgs want to come on new like the bubble scene right now, which I kind of understand for orgs because there's not much of an incentive. But
So if there were items for rival series teams, do you think that would be enough of an incentive for these teams or these organizations to come in and maybe be able to fund the trips to majors for these RLRS teams, or do you still think it wouldn't be enough?
I think like maybe the top teams, like I couldn't really say, but I would think maybe the teams that are looking really strong could definitely get those maybe like United type orgs, or maybe I don't know, just those orgs that aren't as popular but have good reputations. I definitely
So like
think
make it where the top 4 teams maybe, or like the teams that stay and are going to be invited next season, you could see them if items were a thing getting picked up 100%.
Well, I think items are a short-term solution though, because if RLRS is where you're going to have stickers or something like that, the team that the org picks up might only be there for a season. Likely they're going to be there only for a season, and then they don't really know what's after that. So the whole system of RLRS just, like Chrome kind of said, like it's a bandage for how risky RLCS is for orgs.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with Chrome on a few specifics. Like I think 10 teams is good. Format changes will be good. But when you take a step back and look at everything, like the structure that we have now in the scene is we have these Renegade Cups, we have the DreamHack Pro Circuit, WSOE, the open qualifiers, NBC might be happening again, and if that happens, that's open. And then rival series, that's a lot of stuff for teams to play in. Like that is a lot of areas for people to play.
But does that mean that RLRS can be like half-assed? You know what I mean? Like we have it, yes, we should be thankful, but at the same time, it's there, and we need to like improve it and make it worthwhile for players, because at the moment, it's just not worth it. We've discussed this before. Like,
so, I mean, Chicago Chrome, what do you guys think would make it worth it for players? You guys are players. What would it take?
I mean, for me personally, not being in RLCS, I think RLRS really is a death trap, which is why you don't see RLCS players that are no longer in RLCS like bother to try, because it's just super risky and not worth it. There's no incentive in being in RLRS right now. If you're not getting top 2, you're not making RLCS. And I honestly think Renegade's a good idea. It's just like the format was pretty bad, and the way it was run was not as good. But
what about some sort of LAN for RLRS, or have Renegades like funnel into the group
I think
stages?
there should be like an incentive, like with all these qualifiers, having like RLRS teams be able to show up to these events, because obviously these RLCS teams are still going to show because they got the orgs, they got the money behind them.
Yeah.
But you're never going to see these teams if they don't qualify, right? So I don't know. It's just like especially like WSOE and DreamHack, like all these teams are going to go except for WSOE, because there's like what top 2 teams go. So
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, DreamHack quals, you got like I got my pickup team. I'm beating all these RLCS teams.
You were
it's like
one
they're gonna
series
go anyway,
away,
so.
right? You were one series away from getting the spot, weren't you? Or was
For
that
WSOE, I was 2. I lost to Ghost, and they played EG and beat EG in DreamHack. But WSOE, we lost to Afterthought.
It's a shame to me, Chrome, that you're still not. I just like I want to just see you go for it anyway, man. I just want to see you play, because at the end of the day, you can, if you guys don't make it, whatever, right?
But he has better options. That's the thing.
If it's true. Being a coach for Energy will pay more than attempting to play in the RLRS, but maybe you could have done both.
I mean, if I was like 16 or 17, I would definitely consider playing RS, but I'm
Yeah.
25, about to be 26. I got bills to pay,
Yeah,
so it's not
I can
feasible
respect
for
that.
me.
I
Like
can respect that.
I wouldn't mind team with the Peeps, or any of those RS teams, but it's like it's not worth it. It really isn't. That's why I took the coaching gig. Maybe next season I can come back for an RLCS spot because I feel like I'm way better now than I was when I competed in RLCS. As crazy as it sounds, but
I mean, did the coaching
We'll see.
make you think about it more and it helped your play?
I've always been very analytical with my play. It's more so like the teammates I've had kind of like killed motivation
Yeah.
to want to get better a lot of times.
Yeah, well, I can understand that perspective, Chrome. I was in similar situations before where it's just like you got to take a look at the long term. And, if you have an opportunity to get in with NRG as a coach, that can
Exactly.
that can be a long-term thing, right? You can be a coach for a very long time. And if you have a door to get into right away, makes a lot of sense. So I love seeing you compete. So I wanted to see you play.
I'm not fully retired. It's just more so on hiatus right now. I'm going to try to make a comeback for next season, if anything.
Well, yeah, if you have the opportunity, if the
Yeah.
players are there, yeah, I would totally agree with that.
I feel like I was really close this time, but didn't fall through, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are you guys hoping that the LAN is this year?
Somewhere in the EU.
Yeah, I think like
Paris.
Spain or Paris,
Yeah.
exactly.
there you go.
Ooh, if
I think like Madrid or Barcelona would be lit.
that would be so awesome.
I
Madrid.
don't think it'll be
would
in Spain just because of DreamHack. That's what I think.
Well, you never
maybe.
know, right?
Yeah.
Like
I think it'll be Paris or somewhere in Europe.
it just.
somewhere nice.
I know from back when we used to operate things. We're very limited by what venues were available. So it's possible that Madrid might have the one venue that's available during the specific time window, and that's where we go. So I don't know. They might have already have it locked in and anything, but Spain would be pretty cool. I think just looking at population, it's probably going to be like UK, Spain, France, or Germany.
I mean, with Twitch though, you guys got the venues last minute, especially what was it season 4? You guys were gonna do Texas or something, and you guys switched to, or was it season 3?
I can't
Season 3, you were
remember.
doing Texas, I think, and then you guys ended up in LA. But
Yeah.
I think Sonics has probably already got everything locked down in terms of.
Hopefully.
I mean, it's
or,
just
like,
from
locations.
like a lot of times too. It's like it takes time to go from yes, you can get the venue to having a signed contract to have the venue. So things can always. It's like anything in life until it's signed on the dotted line or it's signed.
Yeah.
It has a chance to fall through. So
I just feel like with Psionics, they can't afford to juggle multiple things on their plate right now. So I feel like they kind of got something down to a T right away.
I hope so.
And
I
focus
want
on
to go
something
back
else.
to Europe big time, but
Europe's
honestly,
fun,
I wouldn't mind going to San Diego either. Like as long as it's just a nice place.
Or San Jose.
San Jose, that could be fun.
In terms of fans, EU's the best. So
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, those were the London land
was
was pretty
incredible.
insane. Yeah, but Chicago, you said you would want to you want Spain if that was your
Yeah.
top.
Well, not like just Europe because I played at NRLCS, and everyone's always told me about how amazing London was. So I would just want to even if it's somewhere close to that, I think that would just be something I want to experience. So
Yeah,
I definitely
and
think European fans.
Does G2 have a like a boot camp place out there? They're a European org, right? So they should probably have
yeah,
something.
they have offices in Berlin, but I know they did a boot camp in Berlin. I don't know how well it went. So, and I don't think JNAPS loves boot camping that much. It might have been experiences with just past teammates, but
I mean, they did nothing but content from what I remember.
yeah, I mean
over there in that boot camp was weird.
yeah, I don't know that the setup I've heard was just really weird and kind of funky. But I would definitely be down to do because I'll be off school officially. I'll be able to do a week in Europe, get ready with the time zone, practice against EU teams. So I would definitely be down.
Yeah, summer's coming, so we're gonna try to boot camp as well. But Justin's in school, so obviously we're gonna try to do something of energy. Hopefully,
Yeah, that'll be.
for all these lands coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we might even get to go to Spain anyway, if we all make it to Valencia
Well,
for
uh,
That's gonna be
DreamHack.
fun.
I have a
That's
question.
gonna be the best dream.
I
hack,
hope.
for
I
sure.
hope to be there.
I'm interested to hear more about boot camps because I'm always curious how do boot camps help compared to just online practice, and I think a lot of people might be curious to know about something like that.
You're in person. You're out. It just you feel more comfortable playing with people like in your environment, I guess, right? So like,
Yeah.
especially like with practice and stuff like that, and you want to learn something, you can address it right away instead of like talk online
Yeah.
and hopefully someone gets it more so.
Yeah, because I've heard that from past players that have boot camped, they're not so much worried about like their actual play. It's more like, oh, well, I feel like I can play better if I know my teammate better and I trust them more. You know, more so
Oh yeah,
like that. Like,
chemistry is a big factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Twitch chat, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask for Chrome or Chicago, we will have some time. We have Mitts coming on for the last 5 minutes of the show, so in about 5 minutes, we'll have to say goodbye to Chicago and Chrome. So Twitch chat, if you got some questions specifically at GoldRushGG, let us know your question. But Chicago, coming into this season, man, what do you think you're most excited for? Like, is it like what is the one thing that really has you excited for this season in particular?
I don't know. Their league play record, G2, in the past 3 seasons has been kind of like insane for like in terms of online. I think they're like 18-3 or something like that. Something insane for their online league plays. So I'm kind of interested and excited to see if I can keep like some of that streak going. And like I'm just super motivated right now to get a top 2 spot, because if you don't get a top 2 and you have to fight in those regionals for it, it's gonna be definitely the hardest it's ever been before.
Yeah,
than before.
G2's kind of been like gods online at times. Like you guys,
Yeah, just gotta play like Kernovi.
Yeah, it was the one season where NRG went 7-0 and G2 beat them in the regional
Lost to G2,
championship.
oh,
yeah.
of course.
So G2 just online is fire. And we've got some questions coming in. Thoughts on the subs that RLCS teams are getting now? Can either one of you guys comment on that?
Which team specifically?
So I think, and looking at subs, didn't Jacob subbing for Splice, I believe, which I think is a pretty interesting thing, because I could see that team, and I'm not saying I'm expecting them to do bad, but I could see that team struggling out of the gate, and then maybe
subbing Jacob.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I don't
what
know.
was
I
more
feel like
interesting.
if you scrim your whole season playing with your full 3-man roster and you switch last minute, I feel like you're not gonna have enough time to adjust in like such a short season. So I feel like subs aren't really gonna play a factor unless someone's arm breaks or controller dies or something, internet dies. I just feel like subbing in general is kind of like not worth it right now.
You need a whole another team worth of subs.
I mean,
so
it
you can always
seemed
have
to.
someone
It
to
seemed
switch.
to like. I feel like subbing did help Nose Dude. I feel
What do
like.
you mean?
Really?
Yeah,
What?
I mean, he had the opportunity. Like,
What are you talking
I
about?
think subbing for NRG helped Nose Dude be able to like get into the rank S, like.
Yeah, I think it was more so his
be able to-
DreamHack Atlanta performance. He killed it
Yeah,
and he made rank S and he was popping off in rank S. It wasn't because he got the energy spot.
you don't think that
I
helped
sure
at
as hell
all?
didn't give him his spot on Karma's team. No, nah, I don't think
Interesting.
so.
Sure.
I don't think subbing for teams is gonna make you more like I don't know.
I mean,
Worth
look-
having, I guess.
Chicago, what are your thoughts?
I mean, a lot of teams are like we have Miho as our super sub, Splice as Jacob. I think like it's kind of a good fallback, but right now it's kind of no one's really on the slate to play. So I think it's kind of just maybe an easy cop out if you don't get a spot for a team you're looking for. But other than that, I think most of these subs first choice wasn't to actually sub. I think it
Yeah.
was a spot like slipped up, so their backup was subbing.
I think that a sub would be all right if like you have a specific player that knows they will not be available for a certain event, and that substitute like practices filling in and like actually adopting their play style. So when they're actually playing and like they've practiced, they can smoothly like play with them. But having a sub that like fills for all 3 players, like it's just not realistic. And maybe down the line, like there could be like a sub roster, I guess, that can be switched in for any of the players. But like that's kind of pointless. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's such a
There
something
used to be a
is-
time where we had 2 subs in the RLCS. You remember that crap?
Yeah.
All right, last question before we say goodbye to Chicago and Chrome. There's been a lot of discussions about Splice and their recent defeats to subpar teams. Thoughts? We'll start with Chicago.
Splice has been a legendary scrim team for a while, so I just think it's them in matches. They're maybe not fully like transitioning that play, but I think once they do, and probably they should find it by RLCS, at least through the middle of the season, they'll be fine. They're they're just maybe having a little bit of a slump right now, which kind of every team has usually at some point. So
Chrome.
Yeah, I second what Chicago says. They're actually really good in scrims. It's definitely transitioning into actual play that they got to figure out, and I honestly think they'll be fine as well.
Awesome.
I think we'll be surprised by them this season.
Interesting. So I guess quickly, last thing, bottom 2 teams in NA. Can you call it Chicago?
Rogue Splice.
All right, Chrome.
Rogue's place.
All right. Well, there you have it. It's in the books. But Chicago and Chrome, huge shout out to you guys for coming in short notice, joining us on the stream. Really appreciate it. You guys had a lot of great stuff to say. Is there anything you guys want to shout out to the stream before we head out? You can start, Chrome.
I want to shout out James for asking me to be on this show.
Oh, thanks, Chrome. Thanks for coming in. Chicago?
And thanks to the many people that still support me.
Thanks everyone for listening, and follow my Twitter at Chicago_RL.
All right. At
Don't
Chicago
don't follow that
_RL.
guy.
Do it.
Don't
Do it. All
Why?
right.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully we'll have you sometime in the future. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. Peace.
Bye. All right. That was Chrome and Chicago. So thank you guys for joining. Now we will be bringing in Mitz. So if Mitz will join our Discord, we can drag him in. And Mitz, we're going to get a quick statement from him on the whole situation. He was mentioned, I believe he was the manager for Afterthought.
And he's also the brother
He's
of
also
Shock.
the brother of Shock, and there was some conversations that we had with Mist and Shock on the broadcast, and Mitz was mentioned. Now he is here in person to give us more insight. Mitz, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It is going pretty well. We had a good show so far, and it's only getting better with your appearance, man. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I was eyeing the pizza you guys had there. I kind of wanted to slice.
Yeah, it's
Come on over.
we have pizza every time, and like if I eat too many pieces of the sausage and jalapeno pizza, it destroys my mornings. Like I'll have a cup of coffee, and then everything just
Crumbles.
You
it
know you can
happens.
order something else.
Yeah, but the thing is I love it. Life is about the journey, not the destination.
Just the
and
coffee
although
does it for
I
me.
know the destination is going to be terrible, the journey of eating those slices
Oh,
is
okay.
worth it every time. But Mitz, let's get to the meat of the conversation. You are the manager of Afterthought and also the brother of Shock. Can you maybe just describe in your own words who you are and what you're here today on the show to do?
Yeah, guys. So in-game name is Mitsevox. I am Shock's older brother. If anyone's wondering, because a lot of people ask, I'm 22. Shock is 19. It kind of started out as for me being manager is right when they were right as the team was making WSOE. A lot of stuff needed to be done. No logo, no jerseys. Like no one really had anything together. So just as kind of his older brother, I kind of took the charge on that. I play Rocket League myself, so I was very involved with the process. I actually designed a logo for them immediately that same day once they made it, and I had jerseys shipped from Germany in like 5 days, I think.
That's pretty crazy.
I know. So, and they turned out really well. So, I ended up just coming to the decision like, hey, we'd love to have you as the manager, and that's kind of how that started.
So, I mean, yeah, it was just a moment of necessity, and you stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool. So maybe now you heard Mist and you heard Shock both come on the show. Was there anything that you wanted to clear up or anything that you wanted to make a statement for or addressing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and having them on, it was just very emotion fueled. It was in the heat of the moment. It was that same day. So I kind of like to put a more professional perspective on everything. And I'd also like to clear up some misconceptions, especially a lot that I've been reading on Reddit and Twitter. The first being is that Afterthought follows Shock and I. So Hoxer and Mist didn't kick Shock from Afterthought, which a lot of
It's
people
just
are
kind
thinking.
of like it's the brand, kind of like Genesis, right? You guys made it, you own it, so it's coming with you.
Yeah, so the best way I can rephrase the situation is that Hoxer and Mist left Afterthought. So, right now, so just to give a quick recap on the events. So Hoxer and Mist left Afterthought, as well as the Fire as the sub. They formed a new team with Roldiz called the Birds and the Bees.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hato and Ty Not Tyler joined Afterthought now. And Dino as the substitute. So that is the new Afterthought as of right now, and that's the only team that would be going by the name Afterthought.
Okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up. That makes a lot of sense. If you work to get that logo and everything, you can keep it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so we actually just got a new logo design. We had a J-Ski on Twitter design us new headers and logos. So we're doing a bit of a rebrand and starting out fresh. Another thing I also wanted to touch on is I'm still seeing, especially with the controversy and the win for Renegade with Afterthought. There's been a lot of heat, a lot of people, saying bad things about Hoxer, about Mist. There's been some bad things about my brother as well. I've heard my name thrown around a little bit as well, and I just want to let everyone know that we are handling it as professionally as possible. What's done is done, and we wish everyone the best. We don't condone any of the smack talk or pointing fingers. So like I said, we just wish everyone the best, and we want everyone to perform their best and move on.
Awesome. Well, that's definitely the high road, so I commend you for that. Shock now on a new team. I'm assuming will you be helping with management roles with this team?
Yes.
Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to be helping out again. I'm still Afterthoughts manager. Something that I definitely could have improved on. Hoxer and Mist were very seclusive with their discussions. I know I saw a comment last week about me being the brother and that being hard for them to come to me, and I get that. But at the same time, they were also very secluded, and I didn't do a very good job myself of kind of asserting myself in that sense. I was really helping out on the business side of a lot of things. I was even helping with some scrims. I was helping set up interviews. I was really taking care of documents, paperwork. But I really feel like, especially as someone who's older than a lot of these players, and just as I'm trying to be the most objective third party as possible, and I want to help out as much as I can on the emotional side as well. I was doing a little bit of that, especially at WSOE when after that we had a tough loss to Flipside in a Game 5 overtime, and I was trying to help out with that. But this time around, I just want the players to know that I'm really going to try and be not only that business support, but also kind of that emotional support and a third party that they can come to and really help mesh the team together so we have the best chance possible to make RLRS.
Yeah, you'll probably have to go out of your way a little bit to try to make those players more comfortable, which, I mean, it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders and you're already going to be doing that. So that's awesome. And I'm really pleased that you came on the show to clear this up. I've never really had the opportunity to talk to you very much. And from what I'm hearing, I think Afterthought, they have a winner in you. So I hope you guys, with your new roster, continue to experience success.
Thanks, James. I really appreciate that.
Awesome. And also, I don't know if you want to stick around with us, Mitz, but there actually was some bombshell news that just hit.
Okay.
If you want to bring up my screen, Gfinity Australia is partnering in the Australian region to be the new partner in Road to the RLCS. So I haven't watched this video yet, but here it is. Oh! Sorry. We're gonna oh my god, we're gonna earphone users. I'm so sorry.
So much for yawning.
All right, here we go.
Jeez.
Round two.
Just turn down the volume on that one.
Yeah, we turned it down the volume a little bit. Here we go. $50K.
Rewards.
Oceanic Masters. Okay, this is dope. Because if you've seen Gfinity's productions, they are actually incredible. So, and also I know Yomi Cheeseman is working with Gfinity Australia. Okay. So I think that's going to make it a lot easier for him to come out to the World Championship now. If he's going to be working for Gfinity, it's a lot easier to get him out.
Okay, maybe.
So hopefully that happens. And maybe even Jake.
What happened to Gfinity exactly?
They just posted a loss. That's all that happened. They posted a loss.
Okay. I was unclear on that.
Sorry, headphone users. That was savage. And now our chat's saying rewards. But
God.
This is pretty cool. I think this is huge. Gfinity Australia.
Yeah.
They have a solid team, an incredible production, and I think this means that just from the business and side of things, it's going to be a lot easier to get Yomi Cheeseman and Jake and whoever maybe else out.
For the size of their scene, they get so much done. It's incredible. And to see this, I'm excited, to be honest.
Awesome.
I just wish other scenes could kind of follow suit to make the process of getting them integrated into the
It makes you wonder
whole
about
scene
South
better.
America.
China.
You know? What's
They,
China?
they don't really do anything.
It's not even out in China yet.
China.
really not
But
yet.
Mitz, is this your first time seeing it? It was announced 34 minutes ago.
Yeah. This is actually my first time seeing it. That's really cool. I'm really excited for the production value and the size of Rocket League growing this year. I really think this is going to be a breakout year, and all this stuff's out. I think what is it called? The Grand Series for South America, the Grand something.
I forget what they're calling it, but South America is coming in, so that will be exciting to see. But
I love how they're bringing all these new regions. So,
I hope it just continues to grow. And then if we had more time, I would get your thoughts on. I don't know if you were listening to all the stuff Chrome and Chicago were saying about the rival series.
I was, yeah.
All right, so if we had more time, I would ask you about that. But maybe you can just give me a quick tidbit on whether you agree or disagree, and then maybe we can cover that more in the future.
Yeah, I did have a quick thought on that. I kind of compare esports to professional sports a lot, and to me, like qualifiers for RLRS feels like one giant wild card game. Like imagine if like baseball didn't have a regular season and just every team had a one wild card game to try and make it into the let's just say like the playoffs for the MLB or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I like as I think Chrome was saying this, like teams can perform so great, and Chicago said he was like 7-0 and that, and then during the actual the qualifier for RLCS, like they didn't show up. So I think there should definitely be more than something than just a basis of seeding from like league play. I think some sort of league play needs to have more impact, and because a lot of great teams don't end up making it.
Like I would be down for an auto promotion thing where we've got 10 teams in the RLCS, 10 teams in the rival series. First place from rival series is guaranteed to get into the RLCS, but the bottom teams of the RLCS aren't auto relegated. They're put into a tournament to fight for a spot. So you will have like one team that doesn't make it, but they'll both have a shot at making it back in. But anyway,
Absolutely.
That's all we have time for today. Mitz, thank you for joining us. And, maybe we'll be able to bring you in to cover some of these topics about the rival series in the future, because it seemed like a little bit of a hot button issue.
Yeah, man, I'd absolutely love that. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Mitz. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
So long.
So we're going to close out the show, guys. That was it. This was a fun one. We went over by 6 minutes. Please forgive us. But we had a lot of juicy content in there. We had Chicago and Chrome and Mitz all come on. This was a good show. I mean, Moopy, I don't think you said 10 words, but
Nah, dude, I was like yawning the entire show. I'm so sorry.
yeah, I mean,
I just woke
it's
up,
the
guys.
leg, right? We can't really give you any crap because you're handicapped now.
Yeah, it's my foot, guys. It's broken. What do you expect? Like, I can't speak if my foot's broken.
Every time you talk, it hurts, right?
It hurts. James, stop making me laugh.
Hey, man, sorry. But now we can all go back. We can turn this off and then start playing some Apex Legends, right? That's what we do now.
Yeah,
Depper really wanted to. He said the channel you were in was open and he was going to join it.
There's
He's
no
really
way.
sad that you
Oh,
left.
it was open?
I don't know.
It was. Yeah, it is. We should have been in the rush hour room. That one wasn't locked. If Dapper joined, though, what are we going to do?
Moopy a vegetable, he says. Okay, Dap.
Oof.
All right.
What kind of vegetable? If Moopy's a vegetable,
Yam.
a yam?
Why a yam?
Have you seen yourself?
All right, and on that, we're going to end this episode officially, and then we'll stick around on Twitch to answer some questions. But if you're a listener or you're on YouTube, thank you guys for checking out episode 13 of Rush Hour. It was a blast. Final words, guys.
A yam.
A yam?
A yam. See you next time, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m.